First thing first, I was leaving the gym and I was listening to the radio. Well, not the radio, I was listening to some music on my phone, and Jeezy song came on, Lose My Mind. For all you people who, like rap music and you want to, this might be one of the craziest songs I ever heard. When I say crazy, I mean good. And what caught me, and I forgot about it, is one verse he said. He was like, drop the top on his car, got the titties out. So you get the reference right. That shit is genius. Okay, now off that on to some other shit. So I wake up this morning. I set my alarm on the weekends for like 8 o'clock because I get up at 5:30 during the week to get ready for work. Anyways, my alarm go off, and I haven't been meditating as much as I usually do. So I'm back to doing that right as I go to bed, and I just put on, meditation music, and sometimes I take melatonin and to slip off into sleep. And for all you religious people or whatever, spiritual, however you want to look at it, like I don't pray. I talk to myself or the universe, however you want to call it, and if you want to call it God and all this other stuff. But I think personally religion is a farce. Now, a lot of people who are in religion, I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe in religion is bad, because it may not be bad for you. But in the big scheme of things, religion is like gangbanging. You know how many wars have been fought over religion? You know how many countries have been invaded and forced religion, a different type of religion on them? You know how many Catholic priests have molested and did all this other stuff to kids and nothing has happened? But anyways, so I always I don't think that I ask, and I think it covers everything. I always ask for wisdom and understanding, which wisdom is knowledge. And knowledge that you get, you ask for understanding so you can understand what's coming through. And for people who believe in God, and I believe in a higher being, but I tell people all the time, well, I don't tell people, certain people when I'm talking to them, is that if your mother and fathers who created you, DNA is inside of you. Whoever created us, DNA is inside of us. So when you pray, you should be, people are like, you talking to yourself, you crazy. No, you should talk to yourself. Because if you believe in God, the universe, whatever, isn't that who, if their DNA inside of you, aren't you a part of that? Anyways, so I turned my TV on and I was about to start watching this podcast. But I said, let me just check out some news with all the bullshit that's going on at work. So I turned on to MSNBC Weekend. And I had heard about this shit like a couple of weeks ago, but I knew all this shit was happening. So the United States, within the month June or July, is talking about filing bankruptcy. The United States as a whole, which I tell people, every country is a corporation, basically. What do you have to offer goods and this and that? The United States is a corporation. And we are the workers of the corporation. And so that we don't, and they keep us separate, again, like I said before, with the media and this and that and racism, this and that, so we don't form a union. Because if we're together, like when unions are formed a company, what ends up happening? So the shit, it ain't even brilliant. It's just most citizens are too fucking dumb and wrapped up in bullshit to even understand what's going on. So the United States is talking about filing bankruptcy. So the United States filed bankruptcy. This ain't about money that is supposed to happen. This is money that's already spent. And we know how much money we owe China, but we beefing with them and all this other shit and all these other companies. So the lady was talking to some other pundits about what happens if the United States file bankruptcy. You know what the responses are? Hospitals are going to go down, are going to disappear. All the stuff and amenities that we are used to going to disappear if we file bankruptcy, because of that bankruptcy means we don't have any more money and we have to start over from scratch. You know how they talk about they need to fix Social Security? If we file bankruptcy, they said that over 800 million people would not be able to receive monies anymore. So what you think that's going to cause? History will repeat itself if you don't learn. Remember when Rome failed? So, and that's what's happening with the United States, because money, the people is no longer respecting the dollar, and that was backed by oil. Now everything is going to Coinbase, and it's going to be backed by gold. The United States don't have a lot of gold. But what will we do? We'll probably try to invade countries that have gold to take it and then be controlled. But too late. China has already done that. Where is the most minerals and all that stuff at? Africa. Where civilization started. So things are going to happen, and people are going to be looking around. Like I said, all this money they're throwing around at $200, $400 million, they're doing it because it doesn't mean a damn thing. Now, the bigger question is what are we going to do about it? As citizens, as human beings, what are we going to do about it? Majority of people ain't going to do a goddamn thing. Going to sit back, well, what are we supposed to do? I can't do nothing. If Martin Luther King and others just sat back and said, what are we going to do about it? Ain't nothing. We wouldn't even be where we are today. As a country, I'm not even talking about black people. I'm just talking about as citizens. So all this is happening, and no one is paying attention. Then they're trying to make it political. Listen, Democrats and Republicans are the same people. They're on the same side. They just make it seem like it's different, so we all can be separated, and make it seem like that we are really making a difference by voting and all this other stuff. So they're saying that the Democrats have came up with a bill to try to fix this situation, but the Republicans won't participate, and they went on vacation. So our country is in crisis. And this means it would be for everybody. You all go on vacation. And how is the United States bankrupt? We just gave billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. What did the bankruptcy? So what happened? We're printing money. When did we become bankrupt? So funding Ukraine with billions and billions of dollars is what bankrupt us? You know, that might be something that they use for an excuse. So, and then I was talking to my sister. My sister lives in a gated community. My younger sister does in Georgia. And people that haven't been paying attention, but Bill Gates have bought up a lot of land. And he's building like homes on these lands. But guess what? You can't buy the homes. They only are for rent. So here's what the 1% is going to do. They're going to build and buy all this stuff. You're not going to be able to own shit because they still need to stay in power. And you're only going to be able to rent. And I mean, the big scheme of things, and even in this country, you really don't own anything. Because even if you got a house and you paying on it and you bought it off, you still got to pay your fucking taxes on the house and even your license plate registration, or else they'll come and take your shit. But now the United States, instead of being able to trade and control what they're doing, we're going to have to become our own company. And how do we do that within our own country? And we got all these different states. So now states are going to have to become their own entities. And going back and forth, you really need to pay attention to what's happening towards the end of this year. And stop worrying about Trump. Stop worrying about Biden. Listen to all the shit going on, but listen to the underlying shit that's beneath it. Again, all these shootings, and now here we go again with the border. Isn't it the same script they were running in 2016, 17? Border crisis. We ain't heard shit about the border crisis until now. You have to pay attention. And there's other things that are way more important. And you don't have to pay attention if you don't want to, because you can say that it's not going to affect you, but it's going to affect the generation behind you and the generation behind you, behind them. The world is changing drastically. And we are no longer the power that we thought we were. And when people say, oh, the president is the most powerful man in the world, you got to be out your goddamn mind. Because if that was the case, the president would be able to do whatever he wanted to do or she wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it. But they have to be delegated. You got to get voted for by the DOJ and all this other stuff. So stop. The president has never, all that is a front to deter you from who really runs or who really was running the country. And it's that, but it's all coming out now. So of course they trying to get people to band together here in the country by giving all the LBGT more shine and stuff like that, but they still keeping the black and white situation going. And we keep falling for it. Some of this shit y'all need to ignore and pay attention to the real shit. Donald Trump wasn't a mistake at all.